You woke up, you saw through the illusion, the rat race, the meaningless chase for status and validation. And then something terrifying happened. Your fire went out and you lost all desire to compete or achieve. You thought awakening was supposed to set you free, but instead it left you paralyzed, stuck between a world you can no longer participate in and a new one you have not built yet. Awake but completely frozen. If that sounds familiar, you are not broken. You are not lazy. You are standing in the most dangerous and most transformative phase of your entire existence. And if you do not understand what is happening to you right now, you might stay stuck in this limbo forever. Today, we are going to decode exactly why awakening kills ambition, what the greatest thinkers in history knew about this crisis, and how to reignite a fire that no storm can ever extinguish. The privilege of a lifetime is to become who you truly are. Stay until the end, because the final insight might be the one that saves you. The Great Collapse. Here is what nobody tells you about awakening. It does not feel like enlightenment. It feels like everything you built is crumbling beneath your feet. The career you chased for years, the status you pursued with obsessive intensity, the goals that once made your heart race with excitement. Suddenly, they all feel hollow, meaningless, like chasing shadows on a cave wall. The cave you fear to enter holds the treasure you seek. And here is the cruel irony that makes this so painful. The people around you think something is terribly wrong with you. Your family says you have lost your edge. Your friends say you have lost your motivation. Your boss says you have lost your hunger. But what actually happened is far more profound than any of them can understand. Your entire operating system crashed, and it cannot reboot the old version. You did not lose ambition. You lost the ability to lie to yourself about what matters. The goals that once drove you were never truly yours. They were handed to you by society, by family expectations, by a culture that measures human worth in productivity and bank accounts. Not broken, just finally awake. Nietzsche understood this crisis perfectly. He called it the death of old values, and he warned us that this death always comes with a dangerous, suffocating void. But what fills that void determines everything about who you become next. The ego's engine. Before your awakening, your ambition had a secret fuel source. And that fuel source was your ego. Think about it honestly. Why did you want the promotion? Was it really about the work itself, or was it about proving something to someone, to your father who never said he was proud, to the classmates who doubted you? Most of what we call ambition is just the ego wearing a convincing mask of purpose. Sigmund Freud identified this mechanism decades ago. He called it the ego ideal, a mental image of the perfect self that drives us relentlessly forward. It whispers, "You are not enough yet. Achieve more, prove more, be more." And when you awaken, when you see through this illusion, that image shatters completely. Shattered. Suddenly the engine has no fuel, the machine stops running, and you are left standing in deafening silence, wondering who you even are without the constant striving. As Alan Watts brilliantly observed, trying to define yourself is like trying to bite your own teeth. This experience is not depression, although it can feel absolutely identical. This is the ego going through withdrawal. It was addicted to external validation, to the dopamine hit of being better than others, to the next achievement on the endless conveyor belt. And now that drug has been ripped away. But here is what most people completely miss about this dangerous phase. The void between. There is a space between who you were and who you are becoming. And it is the most uncomfortable, terrifying place a human being can inhabit. The void between two worlds. You cannot go back to sleep. The old world feels plastic, fake, suffocating. Every conversation about career goals and 5-year plans makes you feel like an alien pretending to be human. But the new world has not formed yet. You are suspended in nothingness. The Christian mystics called this the dark night of the soul. St. John of the Cross wrote about it over 500 years ago. In the dark night of the soul, bright flows the river of God. But here is what St. John understood that most modern spiritual teachers completely miss. The dark night is not a problem to be solved. It is not a bug in your awakening. It is the feature. It is a cocoon. You are not stuck, you are dissolving. The caterpillar does not become a butterfly by adding wings to its existing body. It literally dissolves into genetic soup inside the cocoon. Every cell breaks down completely before it can rebuild into something entirely new. If this ancient wisdom is making you rethink everything you believed was wrong with you, hit like and subscribe to keep exploring the depths of human wisdom with me. Because what comes next explains why most people never make it through this phase alive. Spiritual bypass. Now here is where it gets genuinely dangerous, because there is a trap waiting for you inside this void, and it has destroyed more awakened souls than ignorance ever could. The trap is called spiritual bypassing, and it looks exactly like wisdom. It works like this: you feel the pain of having no direction, no purpose, no fire. So instead of sitting with that pain and letting it teach you, you wrap it in spiritual language. You say things like, I am just surrendering to the flow, I have transcended desire, I am beyond ambition now, I am simply being present. But surrender without honest discernment is just another sophisticated form of hiding. The psychologist John Wellwood coined the term spiritual bypassing in 1984. He watched in horror as people used spiritual concepts as an elegant escape from their unresolved psychological wounds and deep fears. Real vs fake surrender. Ask yourself with brutal honesty right now, are you genuinely at peace with having no ambition? Or are you terrified that if you try again with your whole heart, you will fail and it will destroy you? Are you surrendering from a place of hard-won wisdom or from a place of paralyzing fear? Because there is a massive difference between a monk who has transcended desire after decades of inner work and someone who watched 3 spiritual videos and decided they are enlightened. There are 2 mistakes along the road to truth, not going all the way and not starting. And this brings us to the philosopher who predicted your entire crisis over a century ago. Nietzsche's warning. Friedrich Nietzsche predicted everything you are going through right now. Over 130 years ago, he called it the death of God, and he did not mean it literally. He meant the collapse of the value systems, the belief structures, the cultural narratives that gave life its meaning and direction. Nihilism. When you wake up and see that the game was rigged from the start, that the values you inherited were arbitrary constructions, you face the exact same abyss Nietzsche described. The terrifying void of nihilism, where nothing matters and everything feels pointless. He who has a why to live can bear almost any how. But here is Nietzsche's absolute genius, the part that most people who quote him never understand. He did not stop at describing the problem, he offered the solution. He said the death of old values was not the end of the story, it was the beginning of the real story. You must create entirely new values from the ashes of the old ones. This is the concept of the Übermensch, the one who overcomes themselves, not the one who goes back to sleep pretending nothing happened, not the one who stays paralyzed in the void making excuses, but the one who has the courage to create entirely new reasons to live, new standards, new purpose born from authentic experience. Create new values from ashes. Your old ambition died because it deserved to die, but Nietzsche's warning rings crystal clear across the centuries. If you do not replace it with something genuine and self-created, nihilism will consume you whole, and what replaces it is something far more powerful than ego ever was. The sacred fire. There are 2 fundamentally different types of fire that can drive a human life, and confusing them is the mistake that keeps awakened people stuck forever. The first is ego fire. It burns hot and fast and bright. It feeds on comparison, competition, jealousy, and the desperate, bottomless need to prove your worth to the world. This is the fire that your awakening extinguished, and good riddance. But there is a second fire, an older fire, a deeper fire, and this one cannot be extinguished by any awakening, any dark night, any crisis of meaning, because it does not come from the ego, it comes from somewhere much deeper. Viktor Frankl discovered this fire inside the concentration camps of Nazi Germany. He lost absolutely everything: his wife, his parents, his brother, his life's manuscript, his freedom. Every single external motivation was violently stripped away. And yet, inside that unimaginable hell, he found a drive more powerful than any ego could ever produce. Those who have a why to live can bear with almost any how. Frankl's fire came from meaning, not meaning given to him by society or status, not meaning he borrowed from a religion or a job title, meaning he discovered in the very depths of his own suffering. The fire that survives every storm was never lit by the world outside you. This sacred fire is exactly what you have been searching for since your awakening, and it has been waiting for you all along. But first, you need to understand precisely how it operates. Aligned action. Here is the secret that transforms absolutely everything about how you engage with the world after awakening. You do not need less action. You need fundamentally different action. Action born from deep presence is infinitely more powerful than action born from desperate anxiety. Think about water for a moment. A river does not struggle to reach the ocean. It does not set quarterly goals or create elaborate vision boards or attend motivation seminars, but it moves with absolutely unstoppable force because it is perfectly aligned with gravity, with its deepest nature. Lao Tzu called this Wu Wei, which translates as effortless action or acting without forcing. Nature does not hurry, yet everything is accomplished. This does not mean sitting on your couch doing nothing and calling it enlightenment. It means doing what is aligned with your deepest truth instead of what your wounded ego demands. Aligned, not forced action. Before awakening, you worked 80 hours a week because you were terrified of being seen as worthless. After awakening, you might work the same 80 hours, but from a completely different place inside yourself. Not from fear, but from love. Not from scarcity, but from overflow. Not from desperately proving, but from freely expressing. Same behavior on the surface, but completely different consciousness driving every single action. The external behavior might look identical to anyone watching, but the internal experience is an entirely different universe. And this distinction is precisely where most awakened people get permanently, tragically stuck. The great paradox. And now we arrive at the paradox that almost nobody in the spiritual community is willing to talk about honestly. Paradox. The greatest achievers in all of human history were also some of the most deeply awakened beings who ever lived. Marcus Aurelius ruled the most powerful empire the world had ever seen, while privately writing meditations on impermanence, death, and the futility of fame. You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this and you will find strength. Gandhi liberated an entire nation of 400 million people through non-violent resistance, driven not by personal ego but by sacred duty. Martin Luther King Jr. transformed an entire society not because he craved fame or power, but because he was called to something infinitely greater than himself. Awakening and ambition are not enemies, they have always been partners. The myth that you must choose between spiritual depth and worldly achievement is perhaps the single most destructive lie in modern spirituality. It keeps millions of awakened people sitting on the sidelines of their own lives. Spirit plus purpose equals unstoppable. The real question was never whether to be ambitious after awakening. The real question, the only question that matters, is this: what are you ambitious for? If your ambition serves only your ego, awakening will kill it, mercilessly, and it absolutely should. But if your ambition serves something greater than yourself, awakening will not kill it. It will make it absolutely unstoppable. And this leads us to the most important question you will ever ask yourself. Find your dharma. So how do you actually find this new fire? How do you discover what you are truly meant to do after the old programming has been completely deleted from your system? Delete the outdated software and install something authentically real. The answer lies in an ancient concept the Hindus called dharma, your sacred duty, your unique and irreplaceable contribution to the fabric of existence itself. And here is precisely how to find it. Stop asking, what do I want? That question feeds the ego and keeps you trapped in the old paradigm. Instead, sit in silence and ask a completely different question. What wants to be expressed through me? What breaks your heart and what makes you come alive are always pointing to the exact same place. Your dharma lies at the intersection of three things that only you can discover. 1. What makes you lose all track of time completely? 2. What breaks your heart about the state of the world? 3. What you would do with passion even if nobody was ever watching. Carl Jung called this sacred process individuation, the lifelong journey of becoming who you truly are beneath every mask, every role, every expectation. Not who your parents desperately wanted you to be, not who society methodically programmed you to become, but the person you were before the world told you who you had to be. Until you make the unconscious conscious, it will direct your life and you will call it fate. Your awakening did not kill your purpose. It burned away the counterfeit so the authentic could finally emerge, and now comes the final piece of this puzzle. The return. Joseph Campbell spent his entire life studying every great story ever told by humanity, every myth, every legend, every sacred narrative across every culture. And he found one universal pattern hidden inside all of them. He called it the hero's journey. And you, right now, in this exact moment, are living it. The hero must descend into absolute darkness before they can bring back the light. The hero leaves the ordinary world behind. They face impossible trials. They die symbolically. They lose everything they thought defined them. And then comes the most important stage of all, the return. The hero does not stay in the underworld. The hero does not retreat to a mountain monastery and hide from the world forever. The hero returns to the ordinary world carrying extraordinary gifts. Return with sacred fire. Your awakening was the descent into darkness. The loss of ambition was your symbolic death, the dissolution of everything you thought you were. And now, right now, you stand at the threshold of the most important choice of your entire life, the return. The treasure you seek is in the cave you fear to enter. But you must choose to return. Nobody is coming to drag you back into the world. The world desperately needs awakened human beings who are willing to engage with it fully, not escape from it. People who build companies with integrity, who create art with genuine soul, who lead communities with deep compassion, who serve others with sacred purpose. Return. Your ambition is not dead. It has been stripped down, purified, and reborn. And it is waiting patiently for you to pick it up and wield it like the sacred instrument it was always meant to be. The question was never whether your fire would return. The question is whether you will have the courage to carry it back into the world. You came here because your awakening felt like a curse, because losing your drive and your fire terrified you to your core, because you were convinced that something was fundamentally, irreparably broken inside you. Nothing was ever broken. You were being rebuilt from the ground up. Your old ambition died because it was built on sand, on ego, on fear of inadequacy, on borrowed values that were never truly yours to begin with. And that death was not a catastrophe. It was not a failure. It was the single greatest gift you have ever received. Awake, alive, and unstoppable. Because now, perhaps for the first time in your entire existence, you get to choose what drives you, not from unconscious conditioning, not from paralyzing fear, not from desperate ego needs, but from the deepest, most authentic, most powerful part of who you truly are. As the great Rumi wrote 8 centuries ago, "What you seek is seeking you." Your new fire is already burning inside you. You just need to stop looking outside yourself for permission to follow it. If you made it this far, comment "Reborn" below to prove you are ready to carry your sacred fire back into the world. The wisdom of the ages is yours. Use it well. If this unlocked something in you, subscribe for more. The vault has more treasures waiting.